Do not skip this intro or the rest of this video is going to be weird. Gamers, the Luna 7 special program has been announced for Friday. The key art is revealed and we're going to be talking about it, going through all of my thoughts, theories, and speculations on the surface level. We're going to save the nitty-gritty discussions for this Friday's live stream and for the analysis that will be uploaded during the weekend. But before we jump into that, gamers, I have some good news, I have some bad news, and I have some middle-of-the-road news, so let's do it in order. The good news, I actually was anticipating the special program being announced tonight, and so I actually decided to record 10 minutes ahead of time in anticipation for the announcement so I can give you guys all of my thoughts, theories, speculations, and my initial reaction, especially with Nicole, Lohan, and Prune being on the banner and being announced for Luna 7. I thought it would have been like a really fun surprise to give you guys, since I don't usually do reactions to these special program announcements. I usually save that for something like the drip marketing, for example. But I was like, oh my gosh, I think it's happening tonight. So I preemptively recorded. That's the good news. The bad news, unfortunately, is that I am just a small first-time indie streamer who, you know, is learning their ways through the ropes, and my dumbass literally realized 10 minutes into my video that my mic was muted. So I have the footage of me popping off, but I do not have the audio, which makes for an awkward interaction, especially since I tweeted my reaction to the special program announcement while I was recording the video, and then I had to later go back and make a follow-up tweet telling people I fumbled the bag. I actually recorded, but my mic was muted because I muted my mic because I was doing something else earlier in the day, and I forgot to unmute it because I was just lost in the sauce, basically. However, I reached the middle of the road. I don't know if this is going to salvage it at all, but there were a bunch of people in my Discord and on Twitter that were like, Arnold, you should dub over it. Arnold, just post the video wholesale. Get the lip syncing freaking community on this to figure out what you said. I kind of met in the middle because my reaction was fucking crazy bananas and I can't reenact that level of hype. And basically voiceover dubbing myself. I don't even know if anyone's ever done. Has anyone ever dubbed themselves? Long story short, I spent the entire night reading over my lips and remembering my first one-shot take of that reaction, and I basically did a subtitle transcription of that entire reaction. You can't hear anything. You can fully see me, you can see what I'm doing on my screen, and there are subtitles essentially with some nice Sumeru background music, and that reaction will be at the end of this video, and that's like the best way that I could like kind of salvage that reaction, because I feel like I know a lot of people are looking forward to it, but I fucked it up. So, and I did that, and I was gonna surprise everybody too with it, and then I was like, wow, I can't believe I messed it up. So, and right now I'm recording, I can see my mic going, so I didn't fumble the bag on this one. Anyways, this is just my initial announcement to let you know, hey, we're gonna do the discussion first, and then we're gonna have a somewhat botched reaction at the end so people don't just jump around and they're like, what the hell's going on? Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Leave your thoughts, theories, speculations in the comments, and before we jump into it, I will be streaming tomorrow, Thursday. We're gonna be going through the Nod Cry event that's currently out for Luna 6, and then on Friday morning, we'll be live streaming the Luna 7 special program, and then I might be doing some stuff over the weekend. We're not entirely sure, but anyways, check me out on Twitch, check me out on my VOD channel, subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, and I will see you guys all in the next one. Enjoy the video. Chat, what am I looking at right now? We finally have it. The Travail teaser and the Winter Nights Lazo teaser at the very end with Dottore burning Irminsul all those years ago. That was foreshadowed and mentioned, I think, by a Genshin dev that was a moment in the future that has not happened yet. Dottore, I think he jebaited the hell out of us. By the way, this is going to be a very quick and brief analysis. I think I'm going to save all of my nitty-gritty, like knee-deep analyses for when we get the trailer this weekend. So that way I can apply this art with the trailer and whatever teases, if they have any teases for us for Snezhnaya. The analysis this weekend's going to go crazy, especially since like this is already giving us a lot. So first off, my 3 favorite nations in Genshin is Mondstadt, Sumeru, and Natlan. Predominantly for lore. Mondstadt for the vibes, for the nostalgia, for the sense of home, and for lore, of course. But Sumeru and Natlan are like the best nations for lore, with the exception of Nodcry, hands down, in my opinion. The Aranara, the Koarina of Good and Evil, Jet and Ben, Rana and Arana, Nahida and Ruka Devada, like the entire plotline that we experienced in Sumeru was sublime. And now we are back for seemingly not only a conclusion to Nodcry, but a conclusion to a piece of the story that kind of went untold, or unfinished rather. We are finally getting truth amongst the pages of Piranha, which translates to truth amidst the pages of old. You guys might not notice this, but in the background of this shot, I think this is the shot right here. This is a tree trunk of Irminsul. Irminsul is supposed to be behind where Dottore is standing right now, and it's gone, which means I legitimately think Dottore is going to burn Irminsul. And the ramifications for that is going to be crazy, because I'm pretty sure it's established in the game, especially through the ley lines, that the Heavenly Principles created this repository of memories, data, information, and this kind of cyclical nature of how Teyvat functions through, you know, when you die, you go to the ley lines, your information, your genetic code, whatever gets like recycled back into the cycle of the ley lines, and then it gets redispersed into the world, and that's how the circle of life proceeds itself, right? But if you destroy Irminsul, what happens to that system? What happens to the system in play for Teyvat, number one? But number two, the fact that Irminsul can be rewritten, the fact that Irminsul can be altered and tampered with. Greater Lord Ruka Devada, Wanderer in the freaking art. I think if we destroy Irminsul, I think the world is going to go back to its factory default setting before Irminsul was ever a thing, which means Wanderer will be remembered. Greater Lord Ruka Devada will exist. All of the flavor text and lore that has been altered through Irminsul being messed around with, especially with Ruka Devada, might revert back to its original placement, which I think the Archon quest for Sumeru was originally called I forgot what it was called. It was like something, the Kalpa Flame Rises. And that was the Archon quest name for the finale. But I wonder if that was Irminsul tampering with it. So like, we were basically given an altered version of the Archon quest, but now Dottore is like, return to factory settings. This is what the quest should have always been called, which means it was never a mistranslation in the Travail teaser. Hoyoverse has been cooking for years. That trailer has been goated ever since it came out, and it's basically aged like the purest fine wine imaginable. And so I'm just looking at all of these through lines, all these threads. We have Nahida, the successor of Greater Lord Ruka Devada. Is she gonna remember her previous incarnation? Is she gonna go up against Dottore again, who's now like, I don't know if he has any authority. I don't think he has the moon's authority anymore, but he has Teyvat's authority. He has Irminsul's authority. So is she gonna be going up against a Data Dottore? What's gonna happen to her if Irminsul gets destroyed? Because her consciousness is directly connected to it through Ruka Devada's, initial, situation with all of that, with her being the god of wisdom. So like, I feel like Nahida's at risk right now, number one. Number two, I'm wondering if she's going to be able to, if she survives, if nothing bad happens to her through this process. It seems like Dottore wants the world to open its eyes. He wants to unlock everyone's third eye, see the world for what it truly is. We couldn't get rid of the firmament, so the next best thing is to show you the truth of this world in all of its ugliness, which means we might actually get reveals to things that we have been perceiving as one thing, but Irminsul's just been messing with us this entire time. So like, the foundations of this game are going to be forever changed, even from our perspective. The unreliable narrators of books, weapons, artifacts, flavor text, all of that was altered at one point with Ruka Devada. So Lord knows how it's going to be altered again. The second thing that I'm really excited about now, and this was something that kind of, passed us by during Nodcry, is Wanderer, and erasing his previous incarnation from Irminsul, claiming it for himself, but not allowing anyone else but the Traveler to remember him as Scaramouche. I was really upset when the Doctor didn't remember him, because, the Doctor has like his placement with segments, and I felt like the segments would be able to bypass Irminsul, but that wasn't a possibility. But like, the Doctor remembers him. That's an even better situation for this like heavy-hitting clash between the two of them and the beef that they have. Not only that, I've been asking for years for A and Wanderer to reconcile, to see each other, to build a relationship, to kind of, to freaking interact and meet finally in the game. And because he wiped himself from Irminsul, A doesn't remember him. But if Dottore destroyed, I'm not even gonna lie, guys. I don't give a fuck about Dottore. Say what you want about Dottore. He's not at the bottom of my list of harbingers, but he's definitely doing the most. I owe Dottore so much right now for what's gonna happen with Irminsul, because as long as there are no adverse effects, negative ramifications for what happens to this tree, and like, what does it mean to destroy this tree? What happens to the data? What happens to the people? Is there any like negative effects on the world or the firmament or the heavenly principles? If he just wants us to have the truth of everything for ourselves and get us one step closer to confronting Celestia, I can't hate him for that. I'm a lore nerd. He's doing the most for me right now, for us right now, which is crazy. So that's number one. Number two, I need A to remember her son. I need A and Wanderer to interact. Like, that's what I want more than anything, honestly. Especially if wiping Irminsul kind of reverts the world back to its original default setting. So all of the Harbingers will remember Scaramouche, which means Scaramouche might finally have voice lines for his Harbinger companions outside of the ones that were out before he erased himself, which I think only would have been Child at that point. So that's another that's a huge deal right there. Number three, Kale has some unfinished business with the Doctor, and I pray to the Heavenly Father above. Dragon King Nibelung, of course, not that usurper. I'm praying to the Father of Genesis that Kale gets to freaking. If she nails the killing blow on Dottore, I will die a happy man. All right, because the fact that she's here and she's come such a long way from the manga, she's come such a long way since the Arc Conquest. She's reading, she's confident, she's leading teams, she's going to the academia. I'm so excited that she's like basically everybody that has beef with Dottore is pulling up right now. And I will mention this too, because I was kind of coping in my initial reaction. I'm almost certain that this is, by process of elimination, Pantalone. It can't be Puccinella because they're too tall. It can't be Piero because Piero would never hide himself like a coward like that. I feel like it might be Pantalone because, I mean, it's like I said, it's just the process of elimination. And I'm pretty sure they confirmed that Dottore gets his money from the banker, right? His blood money comes from Pantalone, and Pantalone basically funds the Fatui and all of their plans and projects and whatnot. So that's another massive thing as well. One thing that I want to mention that was addressed in my reaction that you guys will see, but you know, I want to fully emphasize it now. I just tweeted about it. I just uploaded a video about it the other day. Natlan's world quests, the summer world quests in particular, have done it again. There was a world quest that released last year. It's called something along the lines of Dream Patiti. And it was a quest where we kind of went through this hallucination trip while interacting with these flowers. And the flowers were talking to us, and they were taking the form, like the hallucinations were taking the form of animals and hilichurls. And there was this one strange conversation with one of them that said something along the lines of, "Oh, syrup mother, oh, phlogiston father, meld together like sweet honey and burn like flames." Now, last year, I couldn't make heads or tails of that because we're getting spoiled without context. We have no idea what that implies, but syrup mother almost sounds like it's referencing a tree because syrup is made from tree sap, which comes from a tree. And in this case, in this predicament, Irminsul is the most important tree in the game. And I felt like phlogiston father was a connection in some way, shape, or form to Pyro, because it can't be the freaking Dragon King Nibelung, who is the phlogiston father, I would assume, or even Xiuquoatl. So I'm kind of curious if the pyronosis is somehow going to be involved in burning Irminsul. Like, and that kind of makes it like, I doubt Dottore is going to just grab a freaking flint and coal and just like start creating like a little campfire and hope to God that this divine tree of the heavenly principles gets destroyed. No, I think he's going to utilize one of the very chess pieces that the heavenly principles helped construct to burn away this tree with pyro specifically. I don't know how Mawika is going to lose it if that's the case. I don't know if it's going to be, well, Data Dottore, I feel like could do, if Lunar Dottore could do anything, Data Dottore, he is the world. He could just materialize that shit, just yoink it from Mawika's pocket. She'd be none the wiser. Either that, or while Dottore's messing around in Sumeru, maybe Pantalone. But like, bro doesn't have a vision. Bro doesn't have, like, you're really gonna go up against the strongest human in Teyvat, like Mawika, the Pyro Archon. I don't know what bargaining chip he would offer for her to just be willing to give it to us like that, you know? I'm so excited. I'm so, like, I feel like there's almost too much, like my brain's going like a bajillion miles an hour. I'm I'm certainly going to break this down more deeply, more in depth. If my original reaction, you guys will see it at the end. I'll mention some things that I maybe probably didn't mention here. Nahida's a big one too, man. Like the successor of Ruka Nevada potentially being remembered in the world by Nahida and everybody else that that remembers her as another Archon that had to erase herself due to the Withering and forbidden knowledge. It's just a lot of lore implications to look forward to, and I'm like yapping, and I'm like talking a mile a minute, and there's so many hopes and expectations that I have, especially because it's like we're getting another Sumeru Archon quest. Sumeru is the closure to Nodcry, which is crazy. And I mean, ultimately, I feel like this has always been Dottore's Grandmaster plan, right? A little experiment in blasphemy. Let me yoink the moon's power temporarily to create this scapegoat battle for you guys to deal with. And while y'all are in Nodcry getting debated, I'm gonna be in Sumeru doing some crazy shit. I'm gonna be revealing the truth of this world to you, to the ignorant masses, and maybe then you guys will understand a thing or two about my greater prospects, you know? And it seems like for once, the Seeker has decided to become the teacher, the mentor even. He's like, you know what? I gotta lead the people out of the cave. And it's kind of crazy, man, right? He is Zandik after all, and Zandik and Xandar 1 Kuwabara from Honkai Star Rail, very similar motivations, man. Both incredibly ambitious, strive to push beyond the boundaries of what is accepted for them as humans. And at the end of the day, I feel like Dottore just wants to leave the cave. He wants to leave the firmament. And not only does he want to leave the cave, he doesn't want the people within the cave to be as ignorant as they've been. And he wants to push them out if that's what it takes. Blind the eyes of falsehood and show us what Teyvat truly is by getting rid of the tree. And so I am so excited for all of this. Nicole is just the icing on the cake. Hexenzirkel Witch, the Silent Angel, sister of Koitar, one of the last surviving angels of the angel race, and she's gonna have her own deluge of lore when it comes to her weapon, her backstory, if she has a story. I don't know if she'll have a story quest because she is in the Archon quest, but I'm so thrilled. I'm so excited to see how all this comes together. We are jumping knee deep into all lore this weekend, so I hope you guys look forward to it. This was a pretty extensive conversation. I wanted to keep it brief, but you know me, I'm a yapper. So I'll just leave it here. My botched reaction is up next, so if you guys want to be subtitle readers, I hope you guys enjoy seeing me freak out and have my reaction as I did. Like I said, I'll be streaming again on Thursday. I'll be streaming tomorrow. At the time of recording right now, I'll be streaming tomorrow. I'm going to try to start and get through the Nodcry event that's currently going on for the current patch, and then Friday morning we'll be reacting to the live stream special program. We're going to be doing a full in-depth analysis that will be streamed on Twitch and then later uploaded to YouTube. And over the weekend we'll figure out what my schedule is for Genshin moving forward. I do have Linnea's quest to do. I have Linnea's side quest to do. I have Linnea's lore and weapon to read. I want to read Vera's Melancholy as well and get through some other stuff before the patch is over. But overall, gamers, Genshin is here, man. Genshin is here to stay. This is the second to last patch as well before we get Snezhnaya. So if this is the last patch of Nodcry's Archon quests, 6 weeks from now, we should be getting the patch that's going to usher in some type of summer event and breadcrumbs and teases for Snezhnaya, and we'll be there in August, which is really exciting. So I'm just going to leave that here. I have so many things I'm looking forward to and hopefully expecting with this artwork and with the trailer and all the information that we're going to be getting. So let me know what you guys think about everything in the comment section down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoy the botched reaction coming up next. And like I said, I'll see you guys tomorrow for the stream, and I'll see you guys Friday for the special program. See ya. bum bum away. Thanks for watching.